put them in a ditch, and Lexie Hull, eat on defense till you're full. The Indiana Fever have officially began to make moves, bringing Kelsey Mitchell back, Lexie Hull back, pairing them with CC and AB yet again. Now's the time, Kelly. Now
Money Mitch is back, Lexie Hull is back, the Indiana Fever just locked down their core, and fans are celebrating like this is pure good news. But here's what nobody's telling you. Hidden inside these contract offers is a ticking clock that changes everything. The Fever don't just have a championship roster coming together. They have exactly 1 season to capitalize on it before the entire financial structure collapses. 1 year, that's the window. While Caitlin Clark is making bargain bin money and Aliyah Boston is still on her rookie deal, Indiana can stack talent and make a real run. But after 2025, the math becomes impossible. The timer just started, and what the front office does in the next 30 days will define this franchise for the next decade. Let's cut through the headlines and talk about what actually happened. The Fever extended a core qualifying offer to Kelsey Mitchell and a restricted qualifying offer to Lexie Hull. Sounds straightforward, right? Not even close. That core offer to Mitchell isn't some standard multi-year deal. It's automatically structured as a 1-year supermax contract under the current CBA. She gets top dollar, but only for 1 season. After that, she's back on the market with 0 guarantees. For Lexie Hull,
don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a video.
that restricted tag means she can negotiate with any team in the league, but Indiana holds all the power. If another franchise offers her a contract, the Fever can match it and force her to stay. Translation: they control her destiny as long as they're willing to pay market rate. Most fans hear these moves and think the Fever are just keeping the band together. But the structure reveals something way more calculated. This isn't about continuity. This is about maximizing a narrow championship window before the salary cap reality crashes down on them. These aren't feel-good retention moves. They're strategic bets with an expiration date stamped right on them. Here's the part that should terrify and excite Fever fans at the same time. Right now, Caitlin Clark is making $76,000. Let that sink in. The most popular player in women's basketball, the player who sells out arenas and breaks viewership records, is on a rookie contract paying her less than most role players. Aliyah Boston is in the same boat. After next season, both become eligible for supermax extensions that will push their salaries over $1 million annually. And that's when the financial walls close in. You cannot have 3 players on supermax deals and still build a competitive supporting cast around them. The WNBA salary cap doesn't work that way. There's no luxury tax loophole. There's no owner willing to eat penalties to chase rings. It's a hard cap, and once you hit it, you're done. So the Fever have exactly 1 season where they can pay Kelsey Mitchell top dollar, keep their rotation intact, and still have flexibility to add impact pieces. 1 year. After that, it's Big Three eating 70% of the cap while filling out the roster with minimum contracts and hoping draft picks develop fast. The math is brutal, and it's coming. If Kelly Krauskopf and Amber Cox are serious about this championship window, there's one move staring them right in the face. Azurá Stevens, unrestricted free agent, proven veteran who can stretch the floor, protect the rim, and play next to Aliyah Boston without clogging the paint. She's exactly what this roster needs, and the fit is almost too perfect. Imagine this starting 5. Caitlin Clark running the point, creating for everyone. Kelsey Mitchell providing 20 points per game off the wing. Lexie Hull spacing the floor as your 3-and-D specialist. Azurá Stevens at the 4, giving you size and shooting. And Aliyah Boston anchoring the paint. That's not just a playoff team. That's a legitimate championship contender that can go toe-to-toe with New York, Las Vegas, Minnesota, anyone. But here's the problem. Stevens knows her value, and she's going to have multiple offers on the table. Indiana needs to move fast and pitch more than just money. The selling point is Caitlin Clark, the national spotlight, the playoff atmosphere every single night, the exposure that comes with playing on the most watched team in the league. That's what gets a veteran to choose Indiana over bigger markets. Make the pitch, close the deal, and build the contender. Roster construction is only half the equation. Stephanie White needs to learn from what actually worked last season, not what she thinks should work. After the Olympic break, the Fever looked like a completely different team. Caitlin Clark was running the offense through her hands, making every read, controlling the pace, dictating how defenses had to react. Kelsey Mitchell thrived off the ball, hunting her spots, getting clean looks without forcing anything. That version of the Fever was appointment television. High-octane offense, constant ball movement, everyone eating, and the results spoke for themselves. They went on a run, made the playoffs, and looked dangerous. But there's a real concern here. White can't walk in and overcomplicate what was already working. She can't try to reinvent the wheel with motion sets or force Mitchell into a primary ball handler role that bogs everything down. The film doesn't lie. When Clark has the ball in her hands making decisions, this offense hums. When they get cute with complex schemes, it falls apart. Keep it simple. Let your generational playmaker make plays. Surround her with shooters and cutters. Push the pace in transition. That's the formula. And messing with it would be coaching malpractice. Let's talk about Kelsey Mitchell's side of this equation, because her situation is more complicated than it looks on the surface. She's been in Indiana since 2018. 7 years with the same franchise, watching them rebuild multiple times, dealing with coaching changes, front office turnover, and losing seasons. She's earned the right to get paid and compete for championships. The supermax offer shows Indiana values her, but it's only guaranteed for 1 year. After that, she's back in free agency with no long-term security. So why would she accept that instead of exploring multi-year deals with other contenders? The answer is Caitlin Clark. Playing next to the most popular player in women's basketball elevates everyone's profile and production. Mitchell averaged over 19 points last season, and a massive chunk of those came off Clark's assists and the defensive attention she commands. That's not coincidence, that's chemistry. Clark makes everyone better, and Mitchell is smart enough to know her best statistical seasons are ahead, not behind, as long as she's playing with an elite point guard. Plus, there's the business angle. Mitchell launched a makeup company recently. Being in the national spotlight that follows this Fever team gives her a platform bigger markets can't match, because the story isn't the city, it's the player. Here's the strategic question the Fever front office has to answer right now. Are they building for one championship run, or are they building for sustained contention over 3 to 4 years? Because those are completely different approaches with completely different roster decisions. If it's one championship push, you go all in. You sign every available veteran who can help. You trade future draft picks for win-now players. You maximize this season and deal with the consequences later. If it's sustained contention, you're more measured. You keep financial flexibility. You develop young players. You don't mortgage every future asset for one shot. The smart play is probably somewhere in the middle. Aggressively pursue 1 or 2 key veterans like Azurá Stevens who elevate the team immediately, but don't gut your depth or trade away every future pick. Build a team that can compete for a title this year while remaining competitive for the next several seasons as Clark and Boston enter their primes. Because here's the reality. Caitlin Clark is under contract through 2028. Aliyah Boston is locked in long-term too. Even after this 1-year financial window closes and the salary cap gets tight, the Fever will still have their foundational stars. They'll just need to be smarter and more creative with the supporting cast around them. What makes this situation so fascinating from a league-wide perspective is that the Fever are running the same playbook Cleveland used during LeBron's second stint. You have a generational talent on a team-friendly contract, so you mortgage pieces of the future to win right now. You stack the roster, push your chips to the middle of the table, and go for it while the opportunity exists. But there's one massive difference. The WNBA salary cap is far more restrictive than the NBA's. There's no luxury tax you can pay to go over. There's no way to just spend your way out of roster problems. It's a hard cap, and once you hit it, you're completely done adding talent. So these front office decisions carry exponentially more weight. If the Fever commit big money to the wrong veteran, they can't just waive them and eat the contract. They're stuck with that player and that salary. That's why this offseason is absolutely critical. Every move matters. Every dollar allocated has to be intentional and well-researched. Every contract has to fit both the short-term championship goals and the long-term sustainability of keeping this core together. Because the window is narrow, it's unforgiving, and it's closing faster than most people realize. One wrong move could derail everything. The Indiana Fever have their core locked in. Caitlin Clark, Aliyah Boston, Kelsey Mitchell, and Lexie Hull. That's a legitimate foundation that most franchises would trade half their roster to have. But foundations don't win championships by themselves. Now comes the hard part. Building the complete roster around them while the financial flexibility still exists. The next 30 days of free agency decisions will define the next 5 years of this franchise. Kelly Krauskopf has built championship teams before. She knows what it takes. She understands the urgency of these rare windows. The question is whether she's willing to take the calculated risks, spend the money, and push all the chips in while the opportunity is right in front of her. Because in professional sports, championship windows don't stay open for long. And when you have a generational talent on a bargain contract, you don't get a second chance to maximize that opportunity. The math is simple. The timeline is clear. The pieces are available. Everything is aligned for Indiana to make a serious run at a title. The only question left is whether the front office is bold enough to seize it. The clock just started ticking. How they respond will define everything. So when you see headlines about the Fever bringing back Mitchell and Hull, don't just think they're keeping the team together. Understand what it really represents. This is a calculated championship bet with a 1-year expiration date. This is the front office saying they believe in this core. They believe in this timeline, and they're going for it right now while the financial math still works. If they land Azurá Stevens or another impact veteran in the next few weeks, this becomes one of the most dangerous teams in the league. If they stand pat and just run it back, they're probably a playoff team, but not true contenders. The window is open. The opportunity is real, and the decisions made this offseason will echo for years. Championship or bust starts now.
Stay locked with my channel Simply Explained for more updates.